Welcome back to Season 3. Season 3? Episode 3, Season 8.
Good Lord.
Good I've done this before. Hold on.
Read the fucking teleprompter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. This week's episode is entitled Samurai-ght on the Money.
Hey.
The year is 1579. You are caught in the midst of an intense civil war, glorious sword fights, stealthy figures lingering, causing disarray. Do we have your attention? Now picture this all happening in Japan, with samurais and ninjas. Now we're cooking, right? Well, this is the stage for the latest of Jordan's guilty pleasures, Assassin's Creed Shadows. You get to play as one of two new protagonists in this game that takes some historical events in Japanese history and puts you right in the middle of action. So is the newest title in the franchise a throwing star? Or is it going Samurai-ght in the trash? Use the same one twice. Can't do that, Daryl.
Yes, you can.
No, you can. We will let you know what we think, and if you don't like it, then Shinbakufu-ck. Great, thanks, awesome, yep, good start. Yep. So obviously we're talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Unfortunately, due to time constraints and not wanting
adulting
to pay
and all these other things,
life,
our real jobs, and not wanting to pay full price for it. The only person that has dabbled so far is Jordan.
Have you beaten it?
No,
absolutely not.
Sorry, Trevor. It's an Assassin's Creed game. It's probably like 100 hours of trash quests. Sorry, was that too early?
Tell us how you really feel about these games, Kyle. Good Lord.
Just made me Ubisoft.
Yeah.
You couldn't call the company UB Hard. I think they would get into the wrong industry.
Yeah, wrong industry to be in.
Yeah. That's like on the cutting room floor of Viagra's name.
Yeah.
Just like, what could we call it? UB Hard. No, it's too close to Ubisoft.
Yeah, can't do it. All right, let's get the elephant out of the room. This game is good. This game is not Star Wars Outlaws. Okay?
Is it though?
Is it though?
Yes,
is it though?
Yes.
Is it though?
You're a rebel. You have a sword-like weapon. Tomato, potato. Do you have a cute little sidekick in Assassin's Creed?
No.
Oh, you don't?
Are you
You're not a Disney princess? You don't have like a little...
unless you classify a Yasuke as a cute sidekick, I don't know. Some people might.
Well, you can put people in your town, Kyle, but you can't, like, you don't have a...
Okay, you don't have a
buddy
fox following you.
Yeah, you don't have like a buddy.
Yeah, like I've got some Shibas and I've got some cats roaming around my village and shit in my hideout, and it's like those are cool.
Is that new to the whole series, like this whole base building kind of thing? Because same thing. I haven't followed Assassin's Creed probably for quite a while now.
No, so that was kind of the funny thing is fuck, man. I've been reading through everything. People have been shitting on this game so hard since it was announced and released, but. And one of the things was the hideout feature, people calling it dumb and, why would they spend time adding this into it? Base building has been in Assassin's Creed since Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which is the third game in the fucking franchise. So it's been like 15 years of base building. Yeah, because it was Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, then Assassin's Creed 3, and so on to confuse everybody. But no, base building, it hasn't been in every entry of the game, but it was in Brotherhood, Valhalla, which was like the last big entry in the franchise. That had like a compound feature as well. You built out your Viking village in London throughout the whole course of that game. So really, this is not a new thing for the series. They just kind of built on it. It's the most like in depth kind of base building that they've had, I would say. But the nice thing, like I said to Kyle, because I know for him it was something he had zero interest in. It's totally optional. Like the base building side of things, there's one quest that's going to take you in where you start it from scratch.
Yeah, the explanation quest.
Yeah, and then honestly, really after that, you don't have to engage with it again if you don't want to. There are some benefits to doing some things there. But yeah, like I'm not going to spend 5 hours in a night, moving buildings around and adding decorations like
The Sims. Assassin's Creed.
If you want to play Sims, just go play The Sims.
I will say, like, I have seen some people clip their hideouts, like what they've done in their game. And it is pretty fucking wild what some people have come up with, and it looks amazing. But that's not my thing. So it's like I'm doing the bare minimum. I'm putting in whatever buildings I need to get me certain upgrades or to like carry on certain quest lines. But after that, I am straight back out into the game world, and I'm, focusing on the things that I enjoy. So
you don't have to like collect lumber and brick and rock and like all that.
Go far.
You have to do any of that garbage, dude, to get the building built.
So this game, this one has castles and like forts that you can liberate. And a lot of loot chests that you come across in the game world will give you building materials.
Do you raid these forts during the day, or is it more of a fortnight situation?
Oh,
Shut
God,
your
get
mouth.
out of here, you fucking tard.
Shut your mouth.
So on the cat, well, I mean, we'll dive into the castle thing. So same thing, for liberating forts and kind of compounds is a Ubisoft like mechanic. They've got it in pretty much every franchise that they do. You either love it or you hate it. I'm indifferent, on it.
I thought you either loved it or hated it.
I'm indifferent on it, Kyle. So
there was only two options.
Oh, fuck's sakes.
Captain Pedantic over here.
Yeah. Christ almighty.
There's three options.
Kyle rode in on a horse named Pedantic.
So with this game, a lot of like the gold tiered loot will be in these fortresses. So they do give you some incentive to go in and beat these and clear them out. Basically, it'll be like depending on the size of the castle, the compound is going to have anywhere from like 2 generals to 4 generals. If you kind of want to speed run it, you can just kill the generals, loot like the one kind of like gold tiered chest, and then it's liberated. You can move on. If you hover over the icon for the castle, it'll tell you how much wealth that compound has accumulated. And that wealth is kind of sprinkled across all the buildings in the area within the compound. So if they've accumulated a high amount of wealth, you'll see a ton of loot chests and a ton of things that you can collect throughout the area. And that can be everything from gear to building materials for your hideout and to even like they call them engravings, which are basically like permanent buffs that you can add to gear. You can find those. So most of the stuff, to be honest, you just go in, kill the generals, get the one like gold tier chest and move on. The wealth for that compound reaccumulates after a set amount of time. So even if you like plundered the area, you could go back 10 hours later and they'll have a high level of wealth again, you know, like they've
so
built
it's not,
that
so
back up.
you don't like liberate it or something. I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
comparing this entirely to like Tsushima. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, so you're not fighting, I guess in this one you're not necessarily fighting like Mongols, you're fighting other Japanese people. Like,
Yeah,
this is more
Civil
like,
War, bro.
it's like,
Civil
yeah,
War.
Civil War, yeah.
Clash of Clans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so the story takes place at the end of the Sengoku period, which was like a massive civil war period in Japan. And that was honestly something that surprised me, was in a lot of the other Assassin's Creed games, when you liberate an area, generally like either your group or like civilians will kind of re-inhabit that area and it becomes like a safe zone almost. But this doesn't do that. Like, these castles and these compounds are always dangerous. And you can steal all their loot and you can, you know, get the chest. But if you go back a couple hours later, like, the enemies are repopulated, you're still, you know, technically an enemy in that area. So
It's kind of like a nice farming mechanic.
Because so
yeah,
you
if you want to do that.
You don't quite feel like you're actually making an impact on the area.
Well, I think what this game does a really good job of, as far as open world games go,
You have to get used to it, you colonizer. You can't have everything.
They do a very good job of making this world feel lived in and populated regardless of your character. Like, you know, that whole like main character energy.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's a god complex.
yeah, you know, like, this game does a very good job of, you can walk through a village and like there's people going about their day and, you know, they're buying rice from a vendor and they're walking down the street to their family and their dog. And like, there's a lot of people moving around the world and it feels very like organic that way. And honestly, that's probably my biggest highlight of this game is like the environmental dynamics and like the dynamic weather and the design of the world itself is probably the best like game world in an Assassin's Creed that they've done.
Well, because they got a ton of praise for Odyssey for that, didn't they? Where they had kind of like the historical mode where you could just see the world because it was so quote unquote accurate to kind of how things would have been at that time.
I remember reading about a history teacher in the States that used Assassin's Creed to like demonstrate some stuff.
Egypt,
I was like, motherfucker just wanted to play video games in class.
I mean,
like,
makes it fun.
I've heard of the Dungeons and Dragons like thing too, or
yeah.
I'll play.
You use like you made characters on the Silk Road, like that. Like that's also hilarious.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like it's, you know, they've done a good job of this world. It's got some of the best like environmental design in an open world game to keep things feeling fresh and unique. Like you start in like a very kind of spring, like color saturated valley. And you'll go into like swampy areas. And right now I'm in like kind of the higher mountainous area of the map. So everything's covered in snow and like it's harder to traverse in certain areas because you have to like kind of stick to the paths to get to certain spots. Cause otherwise you're trying to climb up like this giant mountain and stuff, which isn't always going to work out in your favor. So,
unless you're playing Skyrim.
Yes.
Skyrim, jump over that mountain.
Yeah. But the dynamic weather has honestly been one of the coolest mechanics, and it's not unique to Assassin's Creed. Like, they didn't invent it. There's other open world games that have done this sort of thing, but they've added a cool mechanic where if you fast travel in this, they kind of take into account that like, okay, if I'm going to fast travel from this point here halfway across the map to this point here, realistically, that's going to take my character a really long time to get there in like real life. And so a lot of the time when you fast travel a long distance, the seasons change. And there's there's like a really cool cut scene of like, 10, 15 seconds that like shows you the season changing. And then when you show up to that area, you've now gone from snowy mountains to it's springtime. So you've got like cherry blossom petals floating around, and it might be raining more often. So the rain is going to kind of flow in and out. Like I did a mission where I started the mission and it was sunny and very like, springtimey. And then halfway through the quest, it was torrential downpour. And then by the time I finished that quest, it was springtime again. Like it was sunny out and the rain had passed. And nice. So like it completely changed just like the vibe of that mission. And the cool thing that they've kind of added to this is when you're playing in the rain, it's louder outside. So your footsteps are more muddied. So people can't hear you,
literally.
Like you can be a little bit more sneaky. And then they've also added in, like, if you're hiding in shadows. So like if the sun's over here and it's casting a shadow on this big building, like you can actually walk through the shadow and that'll act as like a stealth spot for your character.
No, that's one thing that I've seen. I've seen some clips of some of the stealth stuff and it looked kind of janky. Have you run into anything yet that's been like weird with the stealth? Because there was one where the person was like crouched in like directly in front of the guards and they were technically not visible to the guards.
So I've been lucky so far. The only weird glitch I had was one mission. I was following the NPC that was talking, and off to the side there was this guy like in a rice paddy field that was supposed to, I assume, like be in the field working, and he was just like levitating above the rice paddies.
Nice try.
Cyberpunk T-pose.
Yeah, the T-pose.
I am the god of rice fields.
So like that one made me laugh because that was super janky. But no, like the stealth stuff, I honestly haven't run into any of the weird like glitchy stuff that people have posted online. The enemy AI in Assassin's Creed has never been perfect.
No. I think this one's far from it.
I heard that it's always so good.
So like this game, especially when you're playing as Naue, the shinobi character, you're not known in the world. So like you can basically walk straight up to an enemy, and as long as you're not in like enemy territory, they don't care. They don't care about you. They have no interest in you. They're just going to stare at you. But if you walk up to a compound, to like the entrance of a compound, and there's an enemy standing watch, they'll tell you, they'll be like, hey, get the fuck out of here, basically. And you can either press X to comply, and your character will be like, oh, so sorry, like I'm just on my way, and there will be no altercation. Or you can like escalate it by pressing triangle, and you'll be like, what the fuck are you going to do about it? And then they'll basically come at you and start a fight. So,
but can you press F to pay respect?
Or press X to doubt?
No X to doubt, but there are a lot of shrines and temples that you can pray at. So, I mean, that does kind of.
So my big question with essentially any Assassin's Creed nowadays, because I know they've just like gone off the rails. How does this story get introduced as an Assassin's Creed story? Or have we just we're just like, fuck it, we're out of here. Like we're done with all of that.
So just abandon it altogether.
Yeah, like have we just abandoned that? Like, are you still like playing as somebody, playing as a dude, playing another dude, or are you like, or are we just like, this is just the new Assassin's Creed now?
So That's one of my biggest gripes with the newer, like the modern Assassin's Creed games, and it's a gripe that a lot of fans have had. Is like as soon as they killed off Desmond in the older games, who was like that was the main character that you played as in the modern era of the universe.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they killed him off, it was very clear that they didn't know what to do with the modern era.
It could only be related to so many people.
Yeah. And so what they've done now in the last few Assassin's Creeds is they've basically turned the Animus, which is like the VR thing that you kind of get sucked into.
Just sounds like a terribly dirty word.
Yeah. Basically the Animus is just being used to collect data on people. So in this modern day world, you're either an Animus employee or you're somebody that's bought the Animus as like a video game and you're playing these characters, but they're harvesting your data to use for like nefarious purposes.
Why does that sound like last week's episode?
It
Why does that sound like the world we live in?
Do you enter a bubble? Dude.
Yeah. Are there bubbles you can get thrown into with someone else?
Do I have to accept terms and conditions to this?
Yeah, right. So that's my biggest.
Very squeaking at me all of a sudden.
That's my biggest gripe with this, with the modern version is like, there's really no connection to like, how does this go from the past to the present? And that was always the most unique part of these games is like, well, how does, past actions affect the present world? And like, I'm only about 27, 28 hours into the game. So there's still a lot more story for me to uncover. Maybe I'll be surprised by something, but even in Valhalla, the last game, like they kind of half baked it where Loki somehow was involved and made his way into present day. And anyway, it's nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. So
yeah.
And this is no different. This is no different. Like even the
Sailor Moon's going to show up. Genshin Impact's going to get involved.
There's some tentacles somewhere.
No.
Even when you boot up the game, like it has a list of all the timelines on the side, and you can scroll through. So like, in 879 BC, like these were the characters that were in the Animus. And so like they've kind of turned it into you're playing in the Animus, and these are the characters that this evil company is giving you access to. And then
all voiced by Chris Pratt.
Yes. They are all secretly Mario characters.
No.
Oh my God.
But the story in this game, it's serviceable. The start of it starts off pretty strong. It's got some pretty heavy like Shogun vibes. Like it's super dark. It really leans into the Civil War aspect of it. Your shinobi character's village is being invaded by like the evil warlord in the region, and he kills your father. He kills everybody that you know. And
classic.
So like you're on a quest for revenge essentially against this group of people. So like it starts off really nice.
Real nice.
Real nice. It starts
real family adventure.
Yeah.
It starts off
this time.
It starts off interesting. But then honestly, a lot of the story since then is just been in service to finishing the quest that you're doing. So like right now, basically the way the quest board works is it's almost like a bounty board. And so you've got like a circle with a bunch of different icons for different people that you need to kill. And when you get to a new region and you start like a new region quest line, a smaller bounty board will open up in your objectives for just that region. And so those are like side quest things that you can do. But like the big bounty board in the middle that's got, I think 12 names, or like 12 silhouette people that you haven't figured out who they are yet. Those are the main people that you need to kill because they were directly involved in murdering your father.
Now, do you have to collect red string on your own, or is that included?
So weirdly enough, the Philadelphia people give you string, and they also give you Ziploc bags of spaghetti. So it's a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal.
You got to eat on your quest, right?
Yeah. Okay. I love a Jordan lore dump. I appreciate you taking us through.
Kyle loves Jordan
You
dump.
met the Nightman?
Do you need the man?
But
Champion
I'm going to interrupt
of the
Jordan
sun.
because
Gotta pay the troll toll.
I need a break.
You don't say.
And what that means is our break this week is going to lead into the first jukebox segment of the season. Trevor, do you have the jukebox locked and loaded?
I do.
He does. Just give it a little Fonzie and we'll go from there. Take it away.
Good enough.
Jukebox.
All right. This week on the jukebox, anyone who is new here, this is where we talk about all things musically nerdy. So something to take with you on the go when you can't be at home playing your video games. This week, I stumbled across a great soundtrack, and it hurts me to say that it's a great soundtrack.
Uh-oh.
This is a franchise that I think has long been done in this world for video games. They have pretty good cartoon content, pretty good movie content. I don't know why this franchise exists as a video game anymore. And I have dumped on this with the guys so many might hurt some people. But surprisingly, very good soundtrack. And this is Sonic Frontiers.
I was going to say, like, is this Sonic? Is he talking Sonic?
So if anyone hasn't played the game, Sonic Frontiers is like a new open world 3D Sonic game. And you get kind of pushed into this very strange open world. I played like the first like half hour of it, and I couldn't play the game. I can't stand Sonic games anymore. I don't think they've had relevance since like the 90s when they were side scroll games personally. Agreed. The soundtrack for this game is unreal. So there's like a mix, like
really?
So it's a 2-disc soundtrack. This is on Spotify.
Wow.
The opening for this is like the banging intro to like an awesome anime show.
Hey.
It's like licensed music. It's kind of that slightly techie, Sonic vibe, like not techno, but, kind of a bit more futuristic. And then you get into like minor orchestra. Like if anyone's played this game, it's very open worldy. Like I was very surprised. I remember talking, I think, to Daryl and Jordan about this. We were playing one night and I felt like I was playing like Elden Ring in the world. Like they push you into this weird kind of like foggy landscape and there's a lot of weird shit going on. It gets into like Final Fantasy VII, like piano and orchestra JRPG music.
Seriously?
Like, wow. Adventure music. It's wild. And it's so good. And then it mixes into something that's like a little bit more, got a bit more rhythm, like I was saying, like a little bit more like techno future-y. And then
But is there like water level vibes?
High BPM to match the movements.
Do I need to hold my breath?
I haven't found any water level songs yet. It's like a 2-disc album. Like there's quite a few songs on here.
Sonic giving everyone like water anxiety.
But like, I mean, Sonic cartoons, Sonic movies are fantastic. But Sonic the game, I'm kind of done with. Like they've kind of played out everything you can do in a run fast in a line and collect coins. Like there's only so many ways to play that.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack for it, fantastic. So if you haven't played that game, or if you have and you're like kind of a fan, just look it up. It's on Spotify. Really good soundtrack out of nowhere, out of left field.
Would not have
That's
picked
crazy.
Yeah.
Son.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
I
No,
was also surprised.
that. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Trevor. That was curveball.
Yeah.
Again, Sonic, like movies, relevant. Sonic games,
Don't know how they're making money.
oh,
They haven't been good in a long time.
They haven't been good since you had to put 9 batteries in a handheld system to play them.
Shout out to the Game Gear, baby.
Yeah.
So back to assassinations. This game's interesting in that you can actually play like as a like shinobi assassin type character, but you can also play as Yasuke, which is a, you know, some people were complaining, but like
Everyone will always
It
complain.
seemed like the most of the internet was freaking out about this.
fuck off with like the historical accuracy part. Number one, this is a video game. B, Yasuke was actually a person like that existed.
Yes.
More or less.
And
Yeah.
third point, who gives a fuck? It's a
Yeah.
video game.
If it's
It's
fun.
like Gameception. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
This is a game within a game.
Yeah.
I also love that someone pointed out in Assassin's Creed 1 or 2, you like talk to Da Vinci and you get a flying machine.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
no one was like, what the fuck is
No one
this?
thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Da Vinci makes you a fucking like wingsuit that you can then carpet bomb enemies with from up top. Like, are you seriously gonna argue about
history,
historical
bro.
That is historically accurate. That is
historical accuracy?
The
Get
assassins.
fucked.
that is on the roof of the Vatican. You can go look at
It's
it.
like after Pope the Third was carpet bombed by Ezio.
Yeah. Like,
You will be
give me a
remembered.
fucking break.
I've seen it. I've been to
Oh
Rome.
man.
There's a painting.
Michelangelo painted it. I seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the dumbest arguments that I've seen about this game. The only thing that can't be like historically kind of decided on was whether or not he was actually a samurai. Yasuke was a real character, but they can't definitively prove that he was essentially anointed a samurai by a lord. That's kind of where it stops. But yeah, these games aren't historically accurate. They never have been.
But I also want to double check the shinobi, like the lady who you play.
Yeah, now
Also
Shinobi.
completely an actual fictional person, right? Like this is just a
100% made
character.
up. Yeah, 100% made up. Yep.
Gotcha.
So
Which is funny because
But
I remember-
she's the least complained about character.
well,
Yeah.
which is funny because in Valhalla, I remember when Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out, everyone was losing their minds. All the neckbeards were losing their fucking minds that you could play as a female Viking, even though you could play the game either as a man or a woman all the way
Yeah.
through. And or it would like split based off of like the story mode. And people were like shitting their pants about that. And then in this one, they're just like, yeah, fuck her. What's this guy doing? Like, why is he
Yeah,
here?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, why is he here?
come
That's
on.
again going back to last episode. People are just looking for some
Oh, it's
bullshit to be
so-
offended about. Like, it doesn't matter.
There's so many other
It
things
doesn't-
about Ubisoft that you can shit on them about.
Yeah,
Like, this is
100%.
like
this is the hill you want to die on.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like this is the fight you choose.
Well, and that's the thing that kills me is like
Oh.
a lot of the things that people shit on for Star Wars Outlaws was 100% warranted because that game shipped as a broken, buggy fucking mess of a game. It
My
had
favorite was the stealth takedowns in Outlaws. And you're like,
Yeah.
bonk.
punk on a metal helmet, like
Yeah.
but yeah, so Yasuke, the interesting thing, and I think Kyle honestly would like this, is like to me, Naue is the traditional Assassin's Creed gameplay style. And then Yasuke was their attempt to try and bring in people that would probably just get tired of doing like stealthy gameplay for X amount of hours. And that's exactly how I've been playing between the two is like Naue is great for like the assassination stuff against certain characters for quests. and she's very nimble. So like any of the towers I need to climb to get like the synchronization points to unlock parts of the map, that's her. That's the gameplay that she's built for. And she's got like a grapple, so it makes climbing towers super fast. Yasuke though is the tankiest tank of a character that you could possibly make. His health is like triple what Naoe's is.
Wow.
And he can use a katana sword, a like long spear with the blade on the end, a nagatana, I think it's called. He can use teppos, which is their rifle back then. And then he gets like a billy club with spikes on it. That's his.
He's a barbarian. He's a full-on.
What an absolute unit!
Yeah,
let's go.
Dynasty Warriors, man.
And so it honestly, it's fucking hilarious. Like a lot of the compound missions, I spent the first 20 hours of the game doing all of that stealthy, because this is one of my gripes. It takes you like 15 to 20 hours to unlock Yasuke as a playable character, which is fucking wild.
That's long.
It is wild. You might be able to do it in 10 if you just focus on main story. Gotcha. But the way I played it, it took me probably over 20 hours, close like 20 to 22 hours to get him. Wow. But the compound missions are fucking awesome because he's such a big character, and like he's an African guy in Japan. And so like you'll walk down the street and you've got I'm gonna say he's 6'4", and you'll walk past a guy, a samurai, like Japanese guy, 5'6" in armor, and you just tower over everybody that you walk past. And the compounds, a lot of the barricade doors are wood, and they've made a mechanic where if you sprint with Yasuke, you can Kool-Aid man your way through the doors.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The juggernaut.
Oh yeah.
So you just fucking bust your way through the door, and I don't do anything stealthy with him. I just bust through.
I heard somebody in here was thirsty.
Yeah. And fuck, man, the damage that he can do to enemies is wild. His executions are insane. Like the billy club, he can basically uppercut a guy with the billy club into the air, and then he ground smashes them back down with the club. And then he's got
I like it.
And then he's got an execution with the long spear, where he cuts off both of the dude's arms. He crumbles to his knees, and then he chops his head off as good measure.
Sick.
Yeah. Like some of the executions are fucking awesome to see. But he's been a fun character. Some of his abilities, he's got the Spartan kick. So like you can have a mob rush you, and you can just Spartan kick them, and they fly. Like they just get fucking launched. And
like a movie with a zip line on the back of them.
100%. Yeah. Like they've really leaned into the fact that this dude is a towering behemoth amongst the people that he is around. And they've just like gamified it to the best, to the best amount. It makes it a joy to play as him. And he's such a stark contrast to like the Assassin's Creed formula. And I know some people, it's been a negative for them. To me, it's been a total positive, 100% positive to have the two stark differences. Because for me, I was once you
unlock them, can you just switch them? Like once you've gotten him, you can just them.
Yeah. So when you're in your when you're in your gear menu, changing your gear, there's a button where you can just swap. Right there. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can just change characters. Okay. When you fast travel to a specific icon on the map, there's two buttons for fast travel. There's fast travel as your character or fast travel as the other character. And so when it loads in,
so they don't travel together the whole time.
They don't travel together at all, except for some main quests.
Okay. So you can like leave someone
Do they
behind. Like you can
interact?
like Grand Theft Auto 5 with like Trevor from Grand Theft Auto 5 and just like leave him in a field somewhere. And then you're over here. Like, is that how? Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Yasuke's just in his underwear by the lake with a bunch of dead bodies around him. Just, I don't know what happened.
So it doesn't have the Grand Theft Auto thing where like that character is dynamic and he's exploring the world on his own.
No, but you just kind of like leave him over here, sort of thing.
No, so if you were to swap back to Yasuke, he will be like, wherever you are.
Okay. So it's just like, it's just like a hot swap of like,
it's just
like you said, stealth versus tank. Like, how do I want to approach this?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like breaking up, sort of like kind of how they did Ghost of Tsushima, where you could be honorable and be a samurai, or you can be kind of a ninja and like do things shady, except it's just split into two different characters.
Exactly. And like Yasuke can't do a lot of the stealth stuff anyway. Like
walking the side of a building.
It doesn't sound like a stealthy character.
Like walking across a tightrope between 2 points. Like he literally breaks the rope and falls.
Oh, that's cool.
And then like synchronization points, like you know how you usually jump into a hay bale. And it's like all elegant and you do like a half flip and it's like super cool. He legit jumps and he screams because he's like, holy fuck, I'm gonna die. And he lands in the hay bale on his back. The hay bale explodes and it's no longer there. And then he fucking rolls out of the hay bale. Oh my God. And the first time you do it, it's really funny. He gets up and he like stretches his back. He's like, oh fuck. And he just goes, oh, I hope Naoe doesn't hear about this. Like he's embarrassed and doesn't want her to know. So like there's the little things like that are really funny. Having the swap between the two, it's made the gameplay feel more fresh. Because like I said, the 20 hours that I did with Naoe at the start was 90% stealth. At least that's what I tried to do. And now, like for any of the compound stuff, or if I need to like just go into battle and kill people, I'm going with Yasuke and I'm just breaking the door down and just fucking people up. And it's so fun.
That's a fun way to break it up.
Yeah.
Do we have like samurai fatigue with like, I mean, like Ghost of Tsushima was so successful. Then we had this, and then we have Ghost of Yotai coming out.
Well, and we had Rise of Ronin.
Rise of
Ronin. We had the Shogun show.
Wukong.
Yeah.
Is the industry creating samurai fatigue?
I think
it's with anything. We had Viking fatigue. We had zombies. We had Vikings. Right, like there's
the Egyptian fatigue.
Yeah. We had Norse fatigue for a little bit there.
Yeah,
too.
There's just waves. Right, there's just waves of it, and it's hard to avoid because someone makes something that's popular. And people go, oh, I have an idea for that. But so does 6 other people. And then everyone does their take of it. And that's how we end up with 500 zombie movies. Right. But people still enjoy it. So I guess it's a question of like, when is enough, right? Like how many seasons of The Walking Dead do we need before everyone's like, I don't watch it anymore?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Yeah, I don't need any more. And like that's kind of my thing is like with Assassin's Creed games, I play less for the story and more for the gameplay. Like to me, the moment to moment gameplay of Shadows is so much fun. The story, they have tried to add in way too many different characters and like they're trying to add in like historical versus fictional people. And it's really confusing to follow all of it.
Just gets convoluted quick.
Yeah. So like for me, that's not been the enjoyable part. It's been, I start the game and then all of a sudden I look down at my watch and I've played for 3 hours and I've just been going, compound to compound. I've been doing side quests. I've been, they've got these tombs that are unique to each character. And the tombs are basically like a 10 to 15 minute underground puzzle. And,
cool.
you have to like find your way through this labyrinth, and there's a unique chest at the end that gives you crazy good loot. And then when you complete it, you get a knowledge point that unlocks like tiers of your skill tree. So like there's lots of other things that you can do to break up like the monotony of it. Monotony? Yeah.
Monotony?
Thank you.
Monotony.
There's lots of things to break that stuff up. And because the environment is so like unique and cool to just roam through, I haven't fast traveled to a lot of spots because it's just been really cool to explore. And there's no mini map. And when you open up the map, a lot of the stuff is just a question mark. And so it's like, if you want to know what that is, you got to go and explore it. And
it's not like Horizon.
Icon overload Horizon.
Yeah.
Let's just dump all of this on you immediately.
Yeah. So that was
here's my map vomit. Like,
and Horizon was an issue, but also Assassin's Creed that's been a major issue with old AC games. So this one, all the quest markers are tied to synchronization towers. When you get to the top of the tower and it plays its little cutscene, like panning the camera, you can hold L2 and look around the map, and it'll show certain icons that are like within reach. And those icons
Horizon-esque.
Those icons will pop up on the map.
Yeah.
But if you don't do every synchronization point, those won't show.
Sorry, did you say long necks?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Everyone stole this from Assassin's Creed, including Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Everyone's like, let's put a tall tower, and then you look out and you mark all your points. That is an Assassin's Creed thing originally, I would say.
Yes.
The one thing I do like though is with all the quests, they don't give you a marker to flood the map and make it really overwhelming. They give you 3 like region clues. So it's like, this person is in this province. They are near this village or this city, and they are near this like landmark. And so you have to open your map and be like, okay, where is the Setsu province? Okay, that's where that is. Okay, he's southwest of Kyoto. Okay, well, where's Kyoto? Okay, he's going to be southwest of there. And then as you build out your hideout, you get scouts, and for each scout you get a point. And you can spend that point to like essentially find the quest marker automatically. Okay. So if I have kind of a rough idea of where this icon would be, I can spend a point. It'll give me a radius. So it's like, okay, this scout, if I use him, it'll uncover this large of a marker. And if that quest is within that radius, it'll pop up, and then I can just go straight to it. But if I don't have a scout point to spend, I can't use that ability, and I have to find it on my own.
That's kind of cool.
So it really encourages you to just like put a waypoint on the map and just go explore. And so that's been really enjoyable for me. Is like, I'm not flooded with all these fucking markers and a stupid mini map on the side. That's just like, the UI is super clean. There's just a little compass up top, and that's it. Like there's really nothing else on the UI until you get into a battle, and then like your abilities will pop up and stuff. But
yeah, how is it? The only other big question I have is obviously the same thing. We're going to compare this to Ghost of Tsushima over and over. That game, like, I mean, you've talked about it, we've praised it. like the side quests with the different storylines of the different people.
Yeah.
Being some of the best, I think, branches of side quests in most modern games. Is there something like that in this? Or like you've said, is this more just like be a samurai, have fun, enjoy what you're doing, but don't like read too much into it? Or
So
like, do they provide some good quests?
So it's got kind of both. So there are certain people that you can recruit to your hideout, and you can only recruit them to your hideout once you've beaten their like story arc, or like you've progressed to a certain point in their arc to, you know, like your friend meter is big enough that they want to join your party.
Fire Emblem.
Karlak approves.
Yeah, exactly. And so there are certain things like that. The cool thing about these side quests is, again, because there's no markers, you could beat your game and you've only recruited half the people that you could recruit.
Wow.
Because you didn't find them within the game world.
Neat.
And so it does encourage exploration that way. And it does give you a reason to want to find these people and recruit them, because in battle there's like a special ability where you can call in reinforcements, and you can choose somebody from your hideout to come in and give you reinforcements. So like I've got a monk that's like a tanky character. I've got a guy that's like a rogue class, so he comes in and throws like smoke bombs and stuff.
What about a paladin?
Paladin?
There's even a voodoo mama juju maybe in there somewhere.
Spiritborn?
Yeah,
All right.
Amazons?
Maybe.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
So there's some cool stuff like that. I will say though, Trev, the story and the dialogue in this is not nearly as good as Tsushima. And so you're not going to care about the side characters in the same way that you cared about the Tsushima ones.
I've heard the voice acting isn't great in it either.
It's the quality is so the quality is so all over the place. Like there's some dialogue that's very good and it feels like I'm playing a high level RPG. And then there's other stuff where it was like, did they bring in like the
dude from the dev team?
Yeah, did they bring in like the intern to fucking voice the dialogue for this vendor?
The village is on fire. What am I gonna do?
Please save us. Help us. What are we going to do?
Hey man, don't go over there. I don't recommend it.
Yeah. Like honestly, there are some parts of the game that are like that, and it is super jarring when you get to those points, because you're like, holy fuck, like what was that? And then you get to a main story cutscene, you know, like I showed Trevor the Last Samurai homage one the other day. Like that whole cutscene with the dialogue and everything was great. You know, like I had no issues with it. But then you get to some of the side content and you're like, holy fuck, what was that?
Yeah. You could see where they spent their time and money, essentially.
Yeah.
And it even bleeds into the music too. Like the start of the game, like I said, there's like some Shogun vibes, and like the music is very like topical to the timepiece and like what's happening, and like gets you super invested. And then there's been other music where it's almost like they tried to remix like a Japanese instrumental, but like with electronic beats and with like weird displaced voice stuff to it. And like you're in the middle of a fight and you've got this weird ass like techno instrumental Japanese song playing. You're like, it's 1581. Why am I listening to this? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
What's funny, because I actually listened to that for my segment. I actually listened to that soundtrack, and parts of that I actually liked, because I was like, oh, they're trying to add this is me thinking of it as like, this is still Assassin's Creed
This is a simulation.
in the
Right,
future,
right.
tech shit, which they've just
Yeah.
completely ignored now. So you don't like feel that vibe at all. But if that was actually in the game, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. They like twisted it into something more modern. But the issue, like you're saying, is that's just not a part of the game anymore.
It just
Right? So
feels
just like you're
so
just so removed.
disjointed.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen often, and that's part of the issue. Is it's like if 50% of the soundtrack in the game was that type of like electronic stuff, and 50% of it was like more traditional music with traditional
Pan
instruments,
flute.
then it would be okay.
Some taiko drums, just
But it's like 90% like Ghost of Tsushima attempted music with 10% of like this weird electronic stuff. You're like, this, why? Like, I haven't heard this song in 10 hours. Why the fuck am I hearing it now? You know, so there's just weird stuff.
I'm in a compound. Why are there
Right.
bongos playing?
someone's
Yeah.
beatboxing.
The one thing I would say for anybody that plays
Is that the
this,
hip hop horn?
yeah. They have like I don't even know what they call it, but it's a specific toggle in the settings before you start the game, where everything is in Japanese. So like all the dialogue is in Japanese, and you can.
I was going to ask that. Is there an option for both?
I've seen a few people post online that the Japanese voiceovers and dialogue is far better quality. So I would say if you're gonna play this game, I would recommend playing it
Japanese
way.
with subtitles.
So,
Yeah.
subs, not dubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Like watching
The
some
sub
animes,
is the dub on this
watching
one.
some animes in English, you're just like, whoa, this is awful.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this definitely feels that way. It's just the quality is all over the fucking place. It's jarring.
But this
jarring
this
in
is
some
a
ways.
great game.
It is a
what
great
the
game.
man said.
Okay, so to stop
Rambling.
Jordan, you're the only one of us that's played it yet.
Yeah.
How would you score it?
So the last thing I want to say just with comparisons is, yeah, fuck off. All right.
Why'd you say it like that?
I don't know.
This game should be compared less to Tsushima and more to Rise of Ronin.
Okay.
The story takes place basically within the same time period. And the gameplay is a lot more similar between the two, I would say. So Tsushima is a better game, and I'll be the first to admit that.
Good answer.
To me, this game, it's right now it's sitting at an 8 for me. For again, the gameplay is the standout, and I think Daryl would even agree with me that a lot of games should be played for the gameplay first. You know,
Yes.
If the story's good and the graphics are amazing, but the gameplay fucking sucks, then why are you wasting your time?
Yeah. It's no good. It's over.
And so that's kind of where this is. To me, the gameplay, like the moment to moment action, is more of like a 9. But the story where I'm at right now, close to 30 hours in, and like the dialogue and some of the writing, that's like a 6.5, 7 for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I'm playing it for the gameplay. I'm really enjoying the combat. I think the weapons are really interesting. I think the gameplay differences between the two characters are interesting to me.
Especially adding that samurai class.
Yeah,
That's dope.
Yeah.
and then just the dynamic environments and the weather. You know, we talk about haptics, you know, being PlayStation gamers, like there's not a ton of haptics in this game, but even just feeling raindrops in the controller, I like that. You know, that's, to me, I think more games should add stuff like that. It's just a cool little gimmicky mechanic that's nice.
It's a nice quality of life.
That is a
piece.
plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you put
So-
it there. Someone fucking use it.
Use it. Yeah, you can feel the horse galloping, just like Tsushima. You know, you can feel each gallop in the controller. Stuff like
How many times has your horse died so far, Jordan?
Yeah.
0, which is great. I haven't had to
10
deal
out of
with
10
that.
in my wife's book. So
Yeah. But no, it's honestly for people like if you never liked the Assassin's Creed formula, I don't think this is going to convince you that you're going to enjoy this game. I don't think this is going to sway you into giving it a try. If you've played older Assassin's Creed games like Assassin's Creed Origins or even Assassin's Creed 3, any of those, and you enjoyed those games, I think you should give this a try. I think there is a lot to like here. And if it has been a long time since you've played an Assassin's Creed game, they have added a lot of quality of life changes to this one that make it more enjoyable and less of a grind. So worth a look, but the typical Ubisoft wait 6 months.
To fight another day.
Wait 6 months and it's going to be 50% off at a minimum, and that's when you pick it up. That's when you buy these games.
Shout out to Tencent for rescuing Ubisoft.
Saving Ubisoft from drowning.
Jesus.
They did. I mean, they've had good sales on this game so far. I think, like Jordan said, there's been a lot of things that people are intrigued in.
3 million.
3 million copies already.
It's definitely different enough from Valhalla and Odyssey that even I'm like, oh yeah, maybe like once it goes on sales, like I'd give it a shot. Like
give it the old
coming in, coming with those like lower expectations of like, this is what I know this game is going to be, I think is the big thing, right? Like I'm not expecting this to be God of War, Tsushima, Ghost of Yotai, whatever, right? Like I'm not expecting that.
The people that thought that this was competing against Tsushima are completely out to lunch. It's not even the same game. It's not the same quality either, but again, like to Trevor's point with the whole like, and Kyle with like samurai fatigue and stuff, like it's hard not to compare a samurai game to a samurai game. I get that.
Yeah, it's
from two supposedly AAA studios, right? Like these are the big, like Rise of Ronin wasn't the like Rise of Ronin wasn't like kind of advertised as this huge game. Like people were interested in it, but it just doesn't have the same backing as like, this is the Assassin's Creed game, right? Like this is our game for the year. This is the Ubisoft entry for the year. And then you've got
to me,
Tsushima.
I played Rise of Ronin and beat that as well. Like to me, Rise of Ronin is a 7, Shadows is an 8, and Tsushima is a 10. So take that however you will. But like to me, that's the easiest way to compare the 3 games in quality.
If you're on a budget with your samurai gaming, which one should you play?
You must be disciplined in your gaming. So I think that sufficiently sums it up. Jordan, thank you for doing the deep dive for us. As always, we appreciate.
Sorry. He's like the master. Sorry, I was thinking like he's like Master Splinter in this situation.
Like cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
This is only a ninja show.
I mean, we would have been able to get Kyle to bed sooner if he didn't stop interrupting me every fucking 3 minutes. But that's fine.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. Either way, guys, I think that was good enough.
Good enough.
Good enough.
It's good. You know what? Better than good. Good enough.
Good enough. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at GEG Podcast. Check out our website, goodenoughgaming.com, and write us an email about anything from our episodes or something you would like us to discuss in the future. You can also now join us on Discord on the Good Enough Gaming Discord server. We really appreciate you listening and hope you continue to join us on this epic adventure of discussing all things gaming and nerdy. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to your podcasts, and rate us 5 stars so we can find more good enoughers in the process. Just remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.